have a boneless pork loin that I've trimmed off a lot of the excess fat and silver skin and some of the darker chain that you'll see on the back end of a pork loin. When you go to the grocery store or Sam's or something like that, and you'll buy one of these huge pork loins, and you'll see this long strand of meat with a lot of sinew going in between that. And you can cook that, and that's just fine. But in the restaurants, we cut it off because we want to have the best center cut piece of pork on the plate. We'll take that chain and we can make a ragu out of it. We'll grind it up and make sausage out of it. Whatever you want to do, whatever your kitchen is equipped with at home that you can do. Whether you have a grinder or you just have, cutting board and a knife, cut it up and make something with it.
Once you have it trimmed up, you could roast it just like that, but you have kitchen twine here, and I think you're going to tie it up. Why do that?
I just like tying it up. It brings the meat in together. I think it cooks more evenly. It just makes a better roasted pork.
Well, I'm anxious to see this because this is one of those skills that every chef needs to have, but looks more intimidating. We're going to post a video of Chef Grant Vespasian preparing this roasted pork loin, including, like he is now, trussing it up with kitchen twine at okfoodie.com so you can go and see the technique. But you've made one loop around an end and you're tying it off.
Yeah, I'll start off at one end of the pork, doesn't matter, and I'll try to get that first one as tight as I can get it. And then I'll flip it around, depending on your left-handed or right-handed, and I have that first ring around, and then what I'm going to do is take my finger and put it right here and bring the string that way. I'm going to bring it underneath.
Looping the string around his finger and then under to make a second loop next to the first.
Yes, and that's where you pull the string through. And you want to start with a lot of string to make sure. It's always better to have too much than not enough, because you get all the way down to the end and you don't have enough string. It's like,
gotta start again.
And how much does string cost, really? So I just do that. Now what you want to do once you get it, that loop around there, is pull it really tight. Like so. And the key is to get it really tight and to get even spacing in between each string. And once you get it down, you can go pretty fast.
Just a matter of repeating the process.
Yeah, you just repeat it. So I go through.
Why available at Sage Culinary Studio?
That's right.
Catherine DeCamp. In this quiet moment, Catherine DeCamp pointing out that you can buy all of your kitchen twine needs here at Sage Culinary Studio.
And if you still can't get it by looking at the video, I'm sure there's something out there. There's a video out there that will really break it down with more detail if you need more detail. If you try it at home and you don't get it, just...
now you could go through and do each of those loops individually, tie them off. That'd be a pain in the butt. If you can master this technique.
Yeah, that's how they tell you to do it at the other cooking store. You won't see. That's how you tie each individual one, which really takes a long time. This is a lot quicker, and it's a lot less cutting and tying of the knot. And once you get it down, it's just a matter of knowing exactly you got your string, and that's it. Now, the little end right there, I'm just going to tie that up one more time. Just to make it tight. And that's it.
Fully trussed, loin of pork.
Right?
Get to the end now. How do you secure that in?
Now, this may not be the best way to do it, but this is what I do. I just run it back down here to the other end, because I don't think it really makes a difference. I'm sure there's some more proper French way that, I'm probably offending some chef out there by doing it this way, but this is the way I do it.
Anybody offended out there? Yeah, I don't think so.
No, I think as long as it's tied up properly, it doesn't really matter what you do at the end of it, as long as it doesn't come undone. So I just tie it up to the other end. I'm just trying to make sure that that end does not come loose. So I just tie it a little knot right there, and that's it.
And look how even now the width is all the way across.
Yeah, it's going to cook really evenly, really nicely. What you can do now is season it with salt and pepper, fresh herbs, a little oil. You can put it in a skillet if you want to start it in a skillet and sear it on all sides and get a nice crust on that. If if you don't want to spend that much time, and if your hood vent isn't that good in your house like mine, honey, it's full of smoke again. Open the windows, open the
all
doors.
windows.
Yeah, open all
Fire
the
alarms
windows.
going off again.
Fire alarms going off. I have never done that, I swear.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, so I'm always saying like, oh, we need a better hood vent. She's like, yeah, that's what we need.
Yeah.
A
We
better-
need you to not roast things on the stovetop.
Right. She's
So
like,
you can do it in an oven that's kicked up to what, 400, 425, and then
sure,
brought back down?
absolutely. If you want to not sear it in the pan, you can put it underneath the broiler and put it right underneath there and get a nice crust on the outside and turn it and then kick your oven down. There's a couple different methods you can do to get a nice sear on the
The
outside.
nice thing though is that pork, while you can certainly overcook it and get it dried out, it's one of the more forgiving meats. You know, the timing,
Yeah.
you can miss by a couple minutes either way. It's
Yeah,
really fun.
and especially if you have a nice mustard cream sauce like we're going to have,
Yeah,
it's going to protect it.
So Chef Grant now rubbing down that pork loin with olive oil, adding salt and pepper.
And I use a generous amount of salt when I'm doing pork because it just, when you get, especially on the fat part of it, oh, it's lovely.
That's all gonna melt and get carried into the meat.
Yeah, I don't think you can get out of control on it. When I've done like pork roasts or pork shoulders or anything, I'm always like, oh, I'm not gonna put too much salt. I'm gonna make it too salty. And everyone's gonna be like, it's too salty.
Now,
You never have too much. It's too
speaking of
salty.
too salty, do you ever brine a pork loin?
Absolutely. I brine pork loins, pork tenderloins, depending on what I want to do with it. If I want to make a ham or some sort of cured type of meat. I've done a pork tenderloin brined overnight and then grilled it on the grill, cut them up in little pieces and grilled them on the grill and glazed them with like a maple rum glaze before. And it's really ridiculously good.
All right, so the pork loin's trussed up, it's oiled up, we got salt and pepper on it, now adding some fresh herbs.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with fresh herbs, so I throw on everything.
This looks like flat leaf Italian parsley.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Since the sauce we're going to make has sage in it, I don't want to add too many other herbs that are going to cover up that nice sage. So I just throw some chopped parsley on there. And it doesn't have to be pretty parsley. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just kind of throw it on there, blot it around. And then from there on, pass it out to Dave. He throws it in the oven.